Hi guys, this is Sajin Prasad. I'm from Vishwakarma Institute of Technology, Pune. And in this video, we are going to study the component of ER diagram. Like we have studied previously, like what entity means, and there are two types of entities: strong and weak entity. Then we have attributes, and like we are now going to learn more about attributes. Then we the next was relationships. So uh, let's start with the attributes and a type of attribute. An attribute describes the property of an entity. Like before I have said you, entity is something like student, employees, this kind of thing. But attributes are the data of that entity. Like if a student have name, student ID, student name, age, phone number, address. These are the things which is also known as attributes. An attribute is represented as oval, ellipse in an ER diagram. Like here, oval shape is nothing but the attribute, and we are going to study the key attribute, composite attribute, multi-valued attribute, and derived attribute. Key attribute. A key attribute can uniquely identify an identity from an entity set. Like a key attribute is something like which is uniquely identify the entity. Like every student have their different roll number. So with the help of a roll number, every student can be represented. So this was an example of key attribute. The text of a key attribute is underlined. And this is the representation of a key attribute. Like it is underlined. Then we have next composite attribute. An attribute that is combination of other attributes is known as composite attribute. Like in this case, student is entity and address is attribute. But in address, there's also more attributes like pin code, state, country, then street, uh, district, and all these things. So here, the address is composite. Like attribute, an attribute has some attributes, so that attribute is known as composite attribute. And we have multi-valued attribute. An attribute that can hold multiple value is known as multi-valued attribute. An attribute can have more than one value. Like for example, my friend Atharva has three phone numbers with him. So phone number is a attribute of that entity, but he has multiple phone numbers. So in that case, the phone number is multi-valued attribute. Then we have derived attribute. A derived attribute is one whose value is dynamic and derived from another attribute. It is represented by dashed oval in an ER diagram. For example, a person age is derived attribute as it changes over a time and can be derived from another attribute. DOB. So this is a structure, or we can say ER diagram of a student. Like student has a roll number, which is this is the derived no sorry this is the key attribute, like uniquely representing the student. Then name, DOB, these are the attributes, normal attributes. Phone number in this case is multi-valued attribute, and age is derived attribute. Address is composite attribute. Because address itself has some attributes called country, state, city, street. So in this case, the address is composite address. Like with the help of this diagram, we can easily understand the four types of attributes. Next, next we have component of diagram, attributes. Like a relationship is used to describe the relation between entities. Okay, like before also I have explained you ki in between two entities or entity, in between entity and attribute there's an relation. Like if a students address is something, so the relation is the student, that student lives at that address. This is the relation between an entity and attribute. A relation is represented by a diamond shape in ER diagram. Like a person, one person has one passport, so here the diamond shape represents the relation between person and a passport. And there are types of relationship, or we can say cardinality. So one to one, one to many, many to one, many to many. These are the types of a relationship. One to one relationship, this is the simplest example. Like one person has only one passport, so when a single instance of an entity is associated with a single instance of another entity, then it is called one to one relationship. Then we then huh then next is one to many relationship. Like in this case, it's like understand with an example only. Definition is like ठीक है, but uh, when only one instance of entity on the left and more than one instance of an entity on the right associates with the relationships, then this is known as a one to many relationship. Like in this example, scientist invents many invention. Like one scientist can invent many invention. So in this case, one to many is a relation between scientist and invention. And on another hand, we have many to one relationship. With an example, we can understand it like many students studies in one college. So it is better to understand with the help of an example rather than going to a precise definition. So next we have a component of here, like fourth relationship, many to many. Here's the example is employ many employee are assigned many projects. So a bunch of employees are assigned a bunch of a project. So in this, there's a relation like many to many. Like many employees are assigned to many projects. Then we have how to create an entity relationship diagram, ERD. So there's basically simple thing we should like consider entity identification. Like in our case, the entity was student. Then relationship identification, like there was too many relation between them, like addresses and then name, PRN, student ID, all these things comes under it. And cardinality, like one to many, and many to one, and many to many. This comes into it. Like for identifying attributes, like which type of attribute it is, like key attribute, composite attribute, or we can say multivalid attribute and the derived attribute. Then create ERD. So this is the path to create an ERD diagram. In an university, a student enrolls in courses. A student must be assigned to at least one or more courses. Each course is taught by a single professor to maintain instruction quality. A professor can deliver only one course. Then we have like these are the representation of a line, or we can say representation of a relation, like one to many, many, one or many, one and only one, zero or one, zero or many. Next, we have like step one, entity identification. We have three entity: student, course, professor. Like this, and these are the entity: student, course, and professor. The next we are like defining relationship identification. We have the following two relationship. The student is assigned a course and professor delivers a course. So like here students are assigned to course though, so this is the relation between them, and professor delivers the course. So professor, and in between professor and course, the delivering or the deliver is our relation between them. And next,